All right, LPW coaches, I am Wally Carmichael. I am here and going to be leading today's Q&A. And I've got Adrian on standby for any questions outside of the software. So let's open up a couple of you and see if you can hear me okay. Let's see, Bruce. Let's see if we can open up Bruce. Bruce, can you unmute for me?
Hello, good afternoon.
What's going on? How you doing?
Great. Enjoying my day up at here, Toronto.
Toronto, nice. How are things going out there?
Wonderful, beautiful summer. Had a great time on Friday. What a day.
Wonderful. Anything special?
Oh, a whole day of LPW training.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
It seems like, what is it, Tuesday? I lose my day, the days already out here. So yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. So much value was given on all the speakers. I took as many notes as I could, but really I just kind of sat back and listened because I knew the recordings would be coming out. So, but there were a few things that I wrote down. What was your biggest takeaway from that?
Get moving.
Yes, absolutely.
And actually the one thing that Carl said was, if you aren't on the on this profit acceleration software thing webinar, you better get on it. So I thought, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely. In fact, I have a whole separate book that I have just for taking notes, just for those events. One of the first things that said that I wrote down is the quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. So with this being the PAS Q&A, since I have you on the line, well, got to make sure that we're recording. Adrian, are we recording?
Yeah, we're going.
Okay, good. Excellent. So, with that in mind, what questions do you have at this point about the software?
Nothing that I can think of at this point. I came mainly to listen and sort of hear what I might be missing that might pique something that I don't know about.
Wonderful, good plan, because there's always something updated. It seems like almost daily, but definitely every week, people need to be jumping on this call to find out what's new. So if you do have a question, anybody who's listening right now has a question, go ahead and raise your hand. You can also type your question into the questions area, but I do prefer that you just jump on the line. There's not many of us on here right now. There's 12 attendees and then 14 including myself and Adrian. So we can definitely have a conversation and answer any questions that you may have, because this is a Q&A. How long have you been with the LPW, Bruce?
A few months.
Wonderful. And what are your thoughts so far as getting through the onboarding process? How's that going for you?
Oh, good. I've got it's all set up and looking at niches, try to figure out where to contact.
Yeah, did you get anything? I mean, there was a lot of information as far as on Friday, as far as how to get in contact with people. What are you learning? What, with all the different strategies that are out there, what are you finding that might be best for you?
What was? Yeah, the COVID relief fund is one of them. Writing an article is another. But Carl was saying just offer to help 10 entrepreneurs this week. So yeah. I've set out yesterday to contact some people through Alignable and plan on offering them a run through the PAS.
Perfect. I look forward to hearing back and seeing how that's working out for you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. That way we can, adjust where we need to. So let me put you on mute just a second, and I'm going to go check out and see what Scott has to say.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely. Love how this board jumps around. Scott, you were
Hey,
unmuted, man. What's going on?
there we go. Thanks, man. I was watching my fingers there trying to get unmuted, so I appreciate that. Um, hey, great. I'll just kind of back up on Friday. Great workshop, I'll call it, right? 8 hours. It was 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time before it finished, and I think it was the last one to end the call. So I thought it was great. Here's my question. So into the software, we have resources, and in the resources, we have, the different profiles on different companies. So the Coaches Resource Center, Cluster Ads and Library, right? Great little section, different categories of different companies. You have sales letters and information in there. A way to get the edited version, the graphics version, because what's in there, what has to take place is, I got to have somebody recreate it and make it for me, right? I might have to change a few things. Maybe the price is different. So I was just wondering if there's any edited versions, illustrated files, Photoshop files. A lot of stuff, you do have the Word docs. You have the Word docs in the PDF, which is absolutely fantastic. I just wanted to know if that was going to continue, or you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, so the way that works, and I don't know if you ever noticed in your e-learning marketing system, when you get people in there, as they click on these, let's say, for instance, they click on the accountant. Let's see how it looks here, and they scroll down to the bottom. And down at the bottom, down here on the bottom, you see my screen where I have the accountants opened up?
Yep.
And there at the bottom, there's a little form in it, and they fill that out, and that goes to you. So that it lets them know, and they can basically choose which one of these that they want to have recreated for their business. So the way that I started out doing that was get on Fiverr or Uplift or something like that, unless you know some people that can recreate this kind of stuff, and just have the general concept recreated with their color scheme, their email, all of their information, their logos and stuff. And that's, as far as I know, that's all that's really available other than what's already in here.
Okay, no, that's exactly what I was doing. I was going through Fiverr, updating that's exactly what I was doing. So I was trying to figure it out. Another great piece of information, if other people are on the call, in the resource center. I just found it, so I think it's cool. So I'll point it out. Let me find it. It's in here. Name marketing resources. It was it was sheet on materials, publications, market materials.
Where were you looking at? Marketing and resources?
Market material. Yeah, so marketing resources, and then the drop down for marketing material packages.
Okay.
And then when you go
and you're talking about specifically for you as a marketing your services as a coach.
Exactly. And then then you click on the one-on-one coaching, for example. This is a good example. This is a great form. This is a fantastic form. Fantastic form.
Got it.
I just found this. I think this is phenomenal. So I was about to hit send with my Fiverr guy, and kind of, I have to recreate it a little bit, right? So I was just wondering, no graphics files, go to Fiverr, spend the $25 and just have it redesigned, right? Is that right?
So as far as I know, I believe this particular form, and Adrian can confirm this or not, these forms that are in here, I believe support can help set these up and personalize them to us. Is that correct, Adrian?
What is it now, Wally? I'm sorry, I was answering a question on the chat.
No, that's all right. These forms that are in here under the marketing resources for coaches, like for instance, this one here, these Achieve Business Excellence flyers and this stuff, can these be sent into support and personalized for the coaches?
Yeah, we actually do that when they get to Alan. We create these for them.
Right, that's what I thought, because I know I've got mine personalized and I need to update them, but that's a whole other conversation.
Wait till I talk to Alan again. Okay, no, I talk to Alan every Monday at 11:30.
Okay, yeah, just mention these forms to him and he can get you taken care of on that.
Okay. Awesome. Great news. Love it. I got another question for you. I noticed there was a credit card form on this sheet. How do you actually, so I see the client actually. So what I'm doing is I create a presentation folder, on Vistaprint. So it's, branded, put all the paperwork inside of some sort. I'm still kind of the paper guy. So I see this going into the folder and congratulations, welcome to the program, right? So this would all go back to the client. If this piece of paper has the credit card information, which has to go back to me, I don't see how that could be relevant on this form, because that should really go back to the client so they know exactly what's all on there. Not that they check it, but they feel like they got, wow, here's all the stuff I get. So I just was trying to, I was thinking that the form should be created just for the credit card slip so I could take it back. So I didn't know what your thoughts were and what the concept was here with that. Did I miss? Am I missing something? Help me.
Well, no, I think that's a great point. If you're going to be giving this back to the client, as far as, taking one for yourself that has the client's credit card information on it and then just giving them a fresh one. That way they have the information. That's the route I would take on that. Otherwise, when you're having these recreated, just have that taken off there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, Scott,
Right. No, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Scott, these were designed as a closing tool for coaches.
Mm-hmm.
This is to be used in the actual close, but if you don't use it that way, just get rid of the bottom part and customize it the way you want it.
Okay. No, that's cool. I was knee deep into it with Fiverr trying to update this, but I'm going to have a conversation with Al and take it to the next step and go through support and just make some notes of what needs to be done. So that's very helpful.
Good.
I do have another question based on price. So let's say I have support change my products on my website to reflect, the prices and the programs and so forth that I'm going to offer. Have a coaching program that's, $19.95. Okay. $2,000 for the month. But let's say I want to, cut somebody a deal and I want to change it to, $9.99. I'll go into the system and actually process a $19.95 order and give it a discount to $900 a month and have it processed through the system and so forth and so on. How do I customize the numbers and what I charge?
What system are you using to charge your clients?
I want to use the whole platform. So on the website, it'll go right into my Stripe account that support created, right? So what I'd like to see happen is actually, if I have my Apple Pro, iPad with a client, showing them the software. That's how I show the software to the clients. And the guy's ready to go. I'm going to go onto my website, pop it right in there, get the credit card, and put it right into the system right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, the way that I do it is I just get their information and I create it right there in Stripe. And what I've done is I've created different packages. Now, if it's the type of business that on the fly, I just decide that they don't need everything that I would normally offer. And instead of charging $19.97 or whatever, and I'm only going to charge, $7.97 based on the information that I have, I will just create a new product within Stripe and attach that to the.
So you'll download. Okay, sorry.
I don't use the discount codes and stuff like that. I just create the new product. Now I try to minimize that, obviously, because then you end up with a bunch of crazy different products built into Stripe. But that's the way. When I first got started, I was honestly all over the place. I was happy to get a client, and I would charge what I thought I needed to charge, and greatly undersold myself in the beginning for sure. But that's the way I do it.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on that, Adrian?
Yeah, Adrian.
Wally, I'm sorry, say again.
That's all right. No, we were just talking about the different pricing and the way that we charge the client. And I just create different products within Stripe as opposed to try to do it like a discount code or something like that.
Do you even need to do that? Can't you just go into Stripe and just charge it?
Yeah, that's what I do. If it's going to be a monthly recurring, then you have to create, you do have to create a product within Stripe, but it takes literally 2 seconds to do that.
Right,
So
right. No, I've
I
done
do
it.
that
Yep,
on the
yep,
call.
yep.
Yeah.
Now,
And then
does that change the reporting in the system though? I mean, we went outside of Stripe, so I mean, totally get it. You know, run it through Stripe on my iPad Pro on site, create a product, can do it on the fly, enter whatever you want. Does that like, how do we work? Because in the software, people order online, it kind of creates this kind of report, it generates what's going on. So would that throw it off, and how can we balance that off?
It hasn't for me. I've only, all of
Oh.
my clients that I have, I've only charged them through Stripe. I have other tools that I use that I charge people, that I could charge people through, like I use Coach Accountable to keep track of all my clients right now until we have everything fully online with the software. I could charge through Coach Accountable, or I could charge through this system or other systems. I just do it directly through Stripe. It's just the way I started doing it, and I'm just more comfortable doing it that way. And they don't know the difference. I'm just taking their information over the phone, or if they don't want to give me their information over the phone, I send them an invoice while I'm on the call with them. I literally just create the
Okay.
invoice. It's a subscription-based invoice, and as soon as I see it pop up in the in Stripe and I get the email, then I go ahead and set the next set our first appointments.
Okay, so I'm getting too thick in the weeds, because I thought, you know, where I was thinking with it was that the software itself, the website, right, would actually kind of keep track of my sales and how the progress is doing. But it sounds like
No,
you
not
know,
at this point.
probably okay, just use my QuickBooks as far as income coming in. Hey, I did
Mhm.
$5,000 a month. I did $10,000, which the Stripe will show income in my QuickBooks and so forth. So just keep it that way, right? So don't overthink it, that whatever they
Correct.
do in the products. Okay.
Correct. That's exactly how I do
Uh,
it.
okay. Totally clear. That clears it all up. Just simplifies it. I get it.
Mhm.
So another question. In the products pages we have on our websites, you know, we have all these videos there, but all the same thumbnails, right? And I'm not quite sure if anyone's actually going to click on a thumbnail and purchase a video for $9.99. What's your thoughts on that? What's the future for that? And how do I, how do we modify that?
I'm
So
not
the
sure what
website,
the future, we haven't, I haven't been in on the conversation anyway on the future for that. You're talking about on our, let me make sure
products
I
page.
put one up.
Mhm.
You're talking about our coaches site
Right.
where we
That's
have
right.
our product ad over here.
Yeah, that's right. Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've
Nobody's
personally
buying
never
that,
had
right?
anybody go in there and purchase anything.
Yeah, I didn't think
I've had people, ever since I've had this site, I've had quite a few download my book, and you just got
Sure.
to make sure you get in contact with them. But as far as this process here, honestly, it's a beautiful, thing to have. I
Oh,
just think
yeah,
for the most
but
part,
it's not.
it just shows that we're actually in business. I mean, it's very functional. Um, I personally haven't had anybody purchase anything through there that I know of.
Yeah, no, I just, it, yeah, no, I just assumed that it just didn't have that sort of vibe through it. So I was actually thinking about just taking it out, and I currently have 4 books that I wrote, then 2 with you guys that I've added right to my pile. So I was going to add my 4 or 5 books inside the product. So if you want to order Be Focused, Camera Focus, Focus on the Profits, you just, that would be my shopping cart to my author page, and just keep this as one page.
Yeah.
And again, that's more about credibility, right? Is
Mhm.
what you said. I'm alive. It's good content. Click here, sort of thing. But
Yeah.
so
Very good question. And here's the thing about this site. The thing I like about this site when these first came out is that, you know how we always say most websites aren't optimized to turn traffic into a lead and lead into a paying customer. This site is specifically designed to do that, because everything that they click on requires them to put in their information, right? If they want to go
Yep.
here, then they go to the book. And if everything is about providing their information. That's what this whole site's for, is more lead generation than anything, and really to show preeminence that you actually are in business, because this is a quality looking website.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. And not to mention all the other sublinks that you can send out links. I
Mhm.
bookmark them, and here's this
Exactly.
link, and whatever, the different ones that are out there and so
Yeah.
forth and so on.
And I suppose,
Just have,
that's a whole other marketing process. If you could go over here and just start, talking about certain things. And then, like if you're doing YouTube videos or if you're doing, Facebook posts or you name it, anything out there, and you just go grab this link, right? And say, hey, by the way, I'm talking about, how to send direct mail to 50 people. Hey, I got a little bit more information on that if you want to go, spend $10 and go get that.
yeah, I mean, just, they don't have to do it, but that's just different, right? That's the point.
Yeah.
I thought about that too, and I was going to go to Fiverr and just add like, I don't know how many thumbnail squares are there, but so they're not just all the same, they kind of duplicate. If I could just update the slide on the top of that video, I don't know if that's possible or if that's a customer care.
Where are you talking
question.
about on the products page?
Yeah, on the products page, you see how they're all, it says what it is, but the graphics behind it is all the same, right? So for the eye, it looks like the same because nobody reads anymore.
Exactly.
So if it had different graphics on each one.
Yeah, who knows at some point when we get a more of a solution on the current software, that's the priority right now, and actually the priority being the group coaching.
Sure.
Who knows, at some point they might have some of the guys come over here and just update some of these thumbnails. But otherwise, I think that if you have your own products, you could have, support, go ahead and put your products in there and call it a day.
Yeah, okay, that's where I was thinking. I just want to make sure I was kind of thinking right, but I do like your idea about cut and pasting that and throw it into some kind of social media thing, right? That's a really good. I like that idea actually too. So that's actually good. So I like that.
I have my moments. I just came up with that on the fly.
Hey, it's all these riffs that you come up with. That's why you're a great coach. You can just
yeah, absolutely.
come
I
up with
appreciate
stuff, right? That's awesome. The LinkedIn profiles, by the way, the cover pages are awesome. By the way, the 3 different colors, I've done quite well. There's a lot of great information on here. So
and that's that is absolutely true. And I hear it all the time. It's just so much information, but that's why we have the onboarding system the way that we have it now, so that people don't get lost in the process. Just talked with a guy today on a role play and has been with LPW for a while and just really was lost and didn't know where to go and know what to do. And he came in just like I did, by the way. I came in directly through LPW. Carl, another coach introduced me directly to Carl, and a coach that I was paying for services. So I didn't have necessarily anybody to hold my hand other than the entire Facebook group of, at the time, I think was only about 500 people or so. Now it's well over 800.
do we have it? I was going to ask that. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in there. So, there's, anytime you feel yourself kind of on a treadmill, then stand back and regroup and just start doing start taking action on the stuff that needs you to move forward. And if you're completely lost, reach out into the Facebook group. There's always somebody there.
That's great. And I kind of added, an hour and a half. I was at 3:30. Just to go through all the different all the stuff in here, and I can find myself like hyperventilating because I couldn't wait to get all of it. And I kind of remind myself, just pick one or two for next week to accomplish, and get to Fiverr or whatever the case may be. And I don't want to spend. I could spend a whole week on this going back and forth and not getting anywhere, with the business. So. But it's a lot of great stuff in there. But only pick one or two for the week. Leave the rest alone.
That's it. That's it. I'm an education junkie, man. And then, of course, you've got the opportunity over here to click on the little favorite stars, so that when you click on the stuff that you want to go back to, then you'll have that. When you go over here to favorites, they'll pop up there.
Yeah. No. Right. No, that's great. The new format's great. That's great. Speaking of the group coaching, so I signed up for that. Kind of digging into that this morning. I added that to my calendar. Is there any? I only saw one information in the resource center about group coaching. Is there any other marketing materials, resources based on that? Have we updated it? Is there anything out there that I missed?
Not just yet. That is forthcoming. There's no doubt about it. But the priority right now
Yeah,
is
no
to
worries.
get that stuff working right. And right now we should. I'm pretty sure after the call on Friday or after Friday, I'm pretty sure they got their 100 or so or more than enough coaches to be in there. I think we've had maybe off the top of my head, maybe 15 or 20 that's been working at it for the last couple of months, and we just need more eyeballs on it. So
Right.
now that we've got more eyeballs in there, we're going to get a lot more information, and it's looking really good. But as far as the marketing and the additional training for it, that'll definitely be coming.
Yeah, and just a little the thought of it, like you just whimly, just came to my mind, just like that. The landing page for us to sign up for that landing page has enough information for anybody to quickly gather, and if they wanted to put a sales sheet together on a one piece, there's enough in there to create, or a product description if you're going to sell it, right? Here's what your offer. I think there's enough in there to do that. Just, if you had to do it today, tomorrow, I'll just go to that landing page.
Completely agree.
Kind of create it.
I completely agree. And then of course that's going to determine, it's also going to be determined by which of the group strategies you're going to decide to use, which one of these you're going to decide to use. So yeah, absolutely.
See, by the way, those video clips, the way they have it in there, wouldn't that look awesome on the product page? Same way?
Yeah.
It looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I know this is exactly what you got in mind, and they could probably do even something else. But yeah, like I said, they're going to focus on this first and probably get to that at some point.
This is actually more valuable to a lot of people, business-wise, and promoting the business than selling a $9.95 video, right? So I completely agree. So yeah, no, that's good. Okay. No, it's great. Sorry if I hijacked anybody's time here. But
good stuff. I see Maria's got a question, so I'm going to put you on mute and go see what she's got to say.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Maria, you are self-muted. Maria Martinez. See if you can unmute for a second. Love to hear what you have to say. If anybody else has a question, you can hit that hand button or pop your question over into the question box. And Maria, if I can't get you open, go ahead and put your question in the question box. I'll be right back. I'm going to go check on Harm, see what he's got to say. Harm, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey,
yeah.
Friday was really great. Really enjoyed it. And
Friday was
really great.
What was your one takeaway from Friday?
I really enjoyed it from the first minute with some really cool how do you call it? I'm looking for getting customers is easy and getting customers is fun. The meditational part of it was really fun. No, I really enjoyed it. And at the end, Kevin Connor, what's his name? Kevin Connor gave that presentation. And till last Friday, I had not problems, but it was always difficult to explain in a technical language. In my backyard, it's technical companies, technical stuff. The profit acceleration software, and Kevin came up with it, Kaizen. And I think it's something people have to realize, that in the world, especially in the industrial world, Kaizen is everyone knows what it means, and it makes explaining the software much easier. And that's what I want to share with everyone. Use Kaizen as a nice explanation of the profit acceleration software. Makes it so easy to understand for technical, may I say it, idiots. And they understand that stuff, Kaizen.
Yeah, I thought that was very brilliant as well. I had never heard of that. That was brand new to me. So
Yeah.
that was really intriguing and how he did that. And I could not even, I'd have to go back and listen to the recording a couple of times to try to duplicate what he did, but it was brilliant at the time.
It was brilliant, absolutely. And again, when you are moving around in the technical world, distributors, valve business, pumps, whatever it may be, Kaizen is production companies. Kaizen is a way to control quality, to control processes, to do step-by-step improvements on the processes. And that's exactly what we are doing. And it is a great translation. It's really cool.
Yeah, most
Yeah,
definitely.
that's what I wanted to share with everyone. Use it. It really makes life easy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that first thing that what Carl did in the first couple minutes there with the, I call it priming because like Carl, I believe he learned that from Tony Robbins, and I was at a Tony Robbins event a couple of years ago when I first learned that. Well, let me rephrase that. I had actually heard of it before and I'd done it a little bit, but I got to do it right there live with Tony. And I'm telling you, I don't do it as much as I used to, but there for a whole year, I did that almost every single day. And I live out here by the lake. And wherever I was at, I would do my priming. And I still do it. I just don't do it every single day. But man, it had been a little while since I did it that morning. It was almost afternoon for us out here in Florida. But wow, that it just truly makes a huge difference when you start your day in the right state of mind.
Absolutely.
With intention and on purpose. It's absolutely,
Yeah.
it's very energizing, and it gets your mind right.
Yeah. Focused. Absolutely. Yeah. But Friday was it was a well spent day. Absolutely.
Do you have any questions
I enjoyed
about
it.
the software right now?
Sorry?
Do you have any questions about the software?
No. For me, that's okay. That's okay.
I appreciate the comments, man. I'm going to go ahead and put you on mute. I'm going to go see if I can get Maria open, and then I'll give Lori a try.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Harm. Maria, let's see if we can get you open. I see you put your question here. Having a bit of difficulty explaining the numbers in, let's open this up, in current profit and what time frame. New annual profit, what time frame, 5-year profit impact valuation numbers are showing in billions. Okay, so let's take a look at that real quick. I'm going to leave you unmuted just in case you can mess with your mic and see if you can get unmuted there, Maria, so you can maybe clarify your question. But I'm going to do what I can to answer your question. So let's go over here to an example that I have on a Jumpstart 12. And you're talking about current profit. In this case, their current profit was 75,000. This example is a revenue of 500,000. Current profit is 75,000. And then after 7 areas of impact, you can see 5%, mostly 3%. Then their profit is 65,000. And that takes it doesn't change the current profit, it stays the same. The new annual profit changes to 140, which is 65,000 plus the 75,000, and then the 5-year impact is amortized over 5 years. Now, to talk about the numbers showing in billions, what might be happening there is determined by how much you're putting in your impacts. All of your impacts should be 10% or less in most cases. Now, if you're going to put 10%, for instance, in market dominating position, you have to put 5 and 5 in these 2 areas. And there's a couple other areas that are like this. Like, for instance, I think it's, let me save this, and you'll see that it changed it on the summary page. I think drip campaign also has 2. So you see 1 and 2 would come out to 3, and I know you know how to add. It's just a matter of explaining how the software works. And we come over here to summary, and you'll see that now market dominating position is 10 instead of 5 because I put 5 and 5 in there. Whereas if you go over here and you put an impact of 40, and then maybe here an impact of 25, and you submit that, well, that's just one area, but you see how the impact jumped up to 255,000, 341%, completely unbelievable. And if you were to do that on all of these areas and put 40, 34 in that case, and 45, and submit that, you quickly see how these are going to jump up. So let me see what other comment you put down here. The company is currently a 150,000 expected increase in revenue. So 150,000, it's currently 150,000 in revenue. Is that what you're referring to? Because that's a very, very low revenue. Or was that the expected increase? Okay, I see the revenue. Yeah, I'd have to see the numbers. Okay, so current revenue. I'd have to see the numbers on that and see how it works. But what you'll have to do is go take a look at what you put in for the revenue here. So we'll save this one, for instance, and keep it at 500,000. Look at the margins, because the margins sometimes will affect that as well. And then another thing you'll want to pay attention to is possibly the valuation, to see if the how much they're growing, but usually the valuation won't affect that too much, if at all. And I don't know if that completely answers your question at this point, but just go back into your software, make sure that the financials make sense. You don't have any commas, no periods, it's just numbers. And then verify what your impacts are. So if you look at the summary over here, you can see the impacts are huge. So they should be 10% or less in all of these areas. Let me know if that answers your question at all, if I'm completely off. And let me go to added dollars instead of percent. Okay, there you go. Excellent. Lori, I'm coming for you, and then I will come to you, Elliot.
Yeah, okay, so good day. I'm doing a deep dive, starting a deep dive 40 tomorrow.
Okay.
And I just had a question about, because I'm reasonably familiar with it. I've been around for a little bit, but I haven't done a deep dive 40 before. And so I'm going to go through the ones that I feel have some implications to the business. And then when we set the priorities, we do that, right? That's not set by the system. We have to set the priorities by going through them one at a time, right?
That's correct. So let me go to one that's actually got some content in it here. Excuse me. I don't know that I have a deep dive 40 that's completely full. Well, let me do this. It'd be just the same. Let me go to a Jumpstart 40, because I generally do the Jumpstart 40. The Jumpstart 40 takes me 2 hours. Well, I schedule 2 2-hour sessions to do a Jumpstart 40. That's the first thing I do with all of my clients. 2 2-hour sessions in the first week. I want to get this done because this is going to build out our roadmap. But once you go through and you start into the strategies, once you're done, then you have to go to priorities and you have to add the weeks in here. Now, these weeks, like for instance, market dominating position can take quite a while. That's one of the biggest ones for most businesses. So I'll put maybe 6 or 7 weeks in there. And then the same thing, I'll just go through here. And at this point, you'll get an idea of what each of these take as you start doing this more often. But generally, you're safe at about 3 to 5 weeks. Put those in there. And I don't, for this one, I don't put the initial planning meeting because that's what I'm doing right now with this client, but I will add the quarterly reviews. I'll prioritize this and then save it. And then you can come over here to implementation. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. And I have
Now, one more thing while we're on this topic, and this is something that comes up in the role plays, is you get done with the final strategy, and this is specifically if you're doing a prospecting call, profit acceleration software or assessment for prospecting, and you finish up, say for instance, with policies and procedures, that's your last strategy. And then they come over here and they try to go to, let me show you one that actually, let's say for instance, this one here, they don't have anything filled out. Let's say I go in here and I put, this is the problem with doing this with the Jumpstart 40. That's why I don't do the Jumpstart 40, Deep Dive 40 for the assessment. But bottom line is, if you don't put anything in priorities, you cannot do any inputs in implementation or ROI. It won't give you the option. You have to do priorities.
right.
So that's one thing that a lot of coaches they're like, well, wait a minute, why is my implementation not working? Well, it's because you didn't put any priorities in there. Once you do that, then you can go to then you go ahead and the implementation will be done, and then you can go do your return on investment.
Okay, and what's the big difference between Jumpstart 40 and Deep Dive 40?
So the Jumpstart 40, let me show you that one real quick. I'll show you an example that I use. If you look at the way the Jumpstart 40 is designed, the quick answer is the deep dive is much more of a deep dive. There's many more questions, and it's set up in an algorithmic sequence. You see how I can go in here and I can it's basically like the Jumpstart 12, right?
Right.
So you're just going in here and you're answering questions. And then I don't think any of these really have, I'm trying to jump, here's the drip campaign. You come in here and you can just ask the questions. And these questions are written, I'm telling you, these questions make me look so brilliant. I've literally had people go, Wally, this is absolutely brilliant. I've never thought of these things. You are an absolute genius. And I say, thank you. But the truth of the matter is, it's these amazing questions that are very well written. And then I'm just answering the questions and going through. Of course, they're not seeing this page because I pause my screen. I never let anybody see these pages right here. I'm paused on the summary. So there's that. But now let's go look at let's go look at the deep dive. And if you look at the deep dive on these questions, the way that they're formulated, you see how it starts out different right here?
Yeah.
It's a foundational question, and it just tells you what to do. It tells you there's 34 questions, and the primary objective is to gain a broad understanding of your business, right? So now you're going to go through here, and it's more of an algorithmic sequence. You're going to answer whatever, it's going to go on to the next one, and it's not set up like the other one is. The reason this is set up like this is because it's more, like I said, it's an algorithmic. This is where the algorithms come in. The 500 million algorithmic sequence, weighted algorithmic sequences, it's all built into the Jumpstart, into the deep dive.
Okay.
Okay, so same thing here. Is there differentiating about your product or your service over your competition? They all believe that it is. Yes. Okay. Well, what is it? We're on time, or we're clean, and we're COVID safe, and all the other stuff. We take Visa and MasterCard. Then you go through the next one, and then each one of these now, if they ask, if you answer yes, it's going to take you to a different question than if the answer is no. It's going down like I was in the medical field for many years, and you ever go to the hospital in the last 10 years, the nurse or the provider is sitting there on a computer asking you a series of questions, and it's going down an algorithm. If this, then that, if this, then that, if this, then that, and then it's going to get down to a possible diagnosis. then they got a few more questions to ask. It's the same thing here. Now, another thing I'll tell you that's a lot different in the Deep Dive 40 is this Deep Dive 40 to do the entire thing. It can easily take a full day, if not more, depending on the dialogue. Because, and what I would do if I was doing the deep dive, I would take just based off of my jumpstart and what we decided we're going to get started on, I would come through here and just start, focus on those areas, then come back later and focus on some more, maybe during one of the quarterly reviews or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to pair, because I've set 2.5 hour sessions with this guy, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to massage that so that we can get it done.
Yeah, and just take your time through it. I mean, literally just have your computer there and just ask the questions and tell them I'm asking these questions right out of verbatim, right out of our software, because it's going to really set the pace for how we're going to continue working together. And you're going to get a much deeper dive and a much better look at the organization as a whole. And some of the things that like Pat and I both like, for instance, if I'm going to do an assessment on an initial assessment on a subcontractor, and I already know that their main issue is not leads and jobs. Their main issue is they don't have enough, they can't keep enough staff on board to do the work that they have to do. They can't take on any more jobs because they don't have enough staff to fulfill the jobs. They have more than one job site open. They can only have 1 or 2 job sites open as opposed to 3 to 6. So that's not a leads issue. That's a trust and education of expertise, not just of the clients, but also of potential employees. And they have a policies and procedures issue. They have strategy issues. These 3 areas right here aren't in the Jumpstart 12, but they are in the Jumpstart 40, which is why sometimes I will use a Jumpstart 40 to do my initial assessment, because I want to get that little bit more information, because I know that while market dominating position is important, this right here is going to be more important for them, because market dominating position isn't just for more clients, it's also for better employees.
Right.
You can create a market dominating position just for that as well. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and then just one last one is, so is there any way to, like, if I did a Jumpstart 40, could just move the information over to a Deep Dive 40, or do I have to do it all by hand?
Great question. No, right now you have to do it all by hand. And that's what I do. If you'll look at my dashboard, I've got some clients down here, for instance, that, I did a initial jump, 2 Hungry Dogs, for instance. I did a Jumpstart, and then I came down here and did the Jumpstart 40 for him. I just went and I opened up 2 different browsers and have 2 screens and just moved over some of the information from the 12 to the 40.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Absolutely, you're very welcome. And Elliot, let's see if we can get you unmuted, bud. You there, Elliot? You're self-muted on your end. There we go. Hey, what's going on, Elliot?
Not much, Wally. How are you?
I'm good.
I joined late anyway, so this is actually a dashboard question, or actually, excuse me, a resources question. I sent a message to Pat the other day when I discovered it, and it's just a little bug, but it has nothing to do with group coaching. If you look at, let me see, if you go into, where's the drip campaigns?
And
here it is. You go into, I think it's drip campaigns, click on that. Yes, you click on the $5.5 million webinar drip campaign. It comes up with another, oh, they fixed it. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I saw, hey, Elliot, that's a good catch, man. I saw the same exact thing. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I've mentioned it to Pat as well, but that was like a week or so ago. So I might have beat you to it, or we were both on at the same time.
Yep. I sent an email to him and somebody took care of it. So, well, that's
Yeah.
good.
Excellent.
And,
Yeah, good call.
Yeah, thank you. And are we, I think group coaching is going to be awesome. I've been kind of plowing my way through it a little bit. Haven't done as much as I would like to.
Mm-hmm.
And am anxious for the September 1 rollout because I've already got some thought processes in mind to start working with it.
Yeah, you and me both, man. I'll tell you, I have been a part of so many different group coaching programs, you know, either just on Facebook or on other Kajabi and other type of different programs. And they've really pulled everything together, all the stuff that I like about that. There's a couple other things that are in the works, but yeah, it's really absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely. I mean, I've got a couple of other coaches that are not part of LPW that I've talked to them about LPW about, and they've seen a glimpse of the profit acceleration, but I haven't told them anything about the group coaching. I'm holding that as my hidden ace.
Yeah, that's going to blow their mind, man.
I think so too. Well, good talking to you. Are you going to Cancun or not?
I am not. I've already had stuff that was already planned during that time, unfortunately, but I certainly do want to get out there.
Well, there's always next year, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. Good talking to you.
All right, take care. Thanks for the question.
You bet.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? No more questions, no more in the, and we did answer, looks like Maria's question about having the $1 billion impact. She had some dollar figures in some of her, where she should have had percentages. So honest mistake, it happens. I've seen it a couple of times. So just pay attention to when you're writing into some of those areas in the various assessments that you're just putting in the information that it requests. So for instance, in the market dominating position, that you're putting in here percentages and not just the numbers. Everywhere you see where there has to be a number, just put the numbers. Only place you're really putting numbers anyway is in the financials and the valuation, unless you're doing it in the notes. So let's see, Larry has his hand up. Larry, go ahead.
Unmuted. When you're doing your presentation and you talked about keeping it on pause so that they don't see the rest of it, can you tell me how to do that exactly?
Yeah, so let me it's hard to do that on here, but here's what I've been doing, because since I've been doing these role plays, I've actually had to share this, and you can't see this part when you're actually on the role play. When you're actually sharing your screen. So when you're sharing your screen on, let me not cover my wife's face over there. When you're sharing your screen on Zoom, and I use Zoom, so if you use something else, I can't, even on here.
It's Zoom, it'll be Zoom.
Yeah, okay. And even on here on GoToWebinar, I can pause the screen here as well. So you'll have this, when you're on Zoom and you're sharing your screen, you're gonna have this little tiny bar. In fact, it looks like this. Hold on. It looks just like this. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's showing both again. Anyway, regardless, you'll just see this little part down here, the green and the red. You won't see the rest of this up here. So what you got to do is you got to go hover over just above there, and this area here pops up, and it'll say pause screen. Now, here's something that I realized today, because this happened twice today, and the coach couldn't pause the screen. And what I figured is what might be happening is when I do my role plays, I use Firefox for my from where my PAS is at. So this right here, I have it open in Firefox, and my Zoom is opened in Safari. Yeah, and then I've got Google open too, but that I don't use Google for this unless I'm pulling something else over. Bottom line is this: Google is not user friendly with PAS at all. Okay, so do not use Google. Use either Firefox, use Safari, and I know there's another one out there that people are using as well that Pat uses. And I'm guessing that Zoom may be causing a problem because the two people that I had a problem with today that could not find their share option, they were both using Zoom on Google. Everybody else has not had an issue. Now, I have not clarified that they were not using Zoom. I'm just assuming that they were not using Zoom, they were using another browser. So I can't confirm that. If anybody else can type something in the chat or in the question area to confirm that, I don't know. So that's what you do. You pause, you just press on pause, and then it pauses your screen on where I usually pause on the summary page. And then I'm over here and I'm typing because nobody wants to see me in here trying to spell, and I just type whenever I'm typing. Whatever's there. I don't have time to sit and try to correct it and make grammatical errors and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just here and I don't want them to see all this anyway. So I just have them pause. Now the trick is to remember to unpause because you'll come back over here and you'll go, hey, Larry, do you see that, now we have, let's see, look at anything under leads, for instance, you see leads, now we have 18,000 and they're like, I don't see anything, right? Or downsell. You see downsell now there's, 22,000 and most of them, a lot of them, they won't tell you that they're not seeing it because they don't want to seem like stupid or something. So you have to, I'm telling you, when you come back over here, you have to go, Larry, so what do you see right now? Do you see that we have these areas over here? You see my mouse moving and you see the arrows pointing up?
Yes.
Or you see my, Wally's Bakery, you see your business name over here? Okay, cool. So now I know that we're on a live screen. I've just gotten in the habit of doing that because too many times before that, I'd be talking and they'd be like, Wally, I'm still seeing your family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. My bad. And if that does happen, okay, no big deal. All right. Sorry about that. Let me just jump back over here. Okay. You see it now? All right. Perfect. Let's continue on. It happens. No big deal.
So you open the Profit Acceleration software in Firefox,
Mm-hmm.
and then in Safari you have like your second screen open with, what was the other one? Open.
Zoom, but I could do Zoom from right here too. It's just a matter of opening Zoom. It's just a matter of opening Zoom. I'm just in a habit of I only use Firefox for the Profit Acceleration software, and I have some other software that I use just on Firefox. But I do other things with Zoom, so I just keep Zoom opened up over here, and you see all my calendar and stuff there. But I just keep that way. I can just keep it open in one area.
So
but it could be on Firefox. Zoom could be on Firefox as well.
Can I use let's see, what is it? Microsoft Edge.
Edge, that's the other one. That's the one Patrick uses. So yes.
Okay, because after I heard that, I've been opening it up in Edge because that's what's on my computer. So I've been using Edge. So just open it up in Edge or Firefox, and then the rest is in Zoom on my second screen.
Okay. Yeah, and here I only use one screen when I'm presenting. I have two screens, but when I'm presenting this particular the PAS, I only use one screen. And what I do is, you see I'm bouncing back and forth. You can either use, I have Apple, so I can use my my mouse pad and the gestures with the two fingers, and it slides back and forth between the two screens. Alternatively, I'm using a different mouse right now that I just press a button and slide it, and it allows the screen to bounce back and forth. And I can bounce between all of these different screens. So that's the way I do it. The reason why I do that is because that way I'm always looking at the camera. I have my camera on this screen, and if I have my video on, you would see me looking right at this screen. Therefore, I'm looking at you. So I'm not looking like what some people have done is they got like, they'll have you, Larry, your image over here on the other screen, but looking at the Profit Acceleration software over here and not looking at you. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I just use one screen. I just bounce back and forth. So I'll have a slide deck over here, and I'll be showing the example and stuff like that. And then I'll slide back. Hey, you see the child psychologist, and he did that. Okay, and we got in this. All right. So that's how it pertains to the market dominating position. But of course, I'll have them still over here on the summary screen, and not be on there. But that's how I use that.
Okay. So for me to be able to see both of them, I need to be able to swap back and forth where I have the dialogue and then.
Yeah. And this just comes with practice. You'll get it down.
Okay.
Yeah, trust me. You'll get it down. It'll be second nature to you, man. And that's why it's important to go do the role plays and stuff, because we teach all of that during the role play. We make sure that everybody knows and understands how to use whatever, usually Zoom and their software. And I want to mention that John, I appreciate that, John. He said that he uses Zoom on Chrome a lot, and pause share. He uses pause share with no problem. Pauses his share screen with no problem. So it's not necessarily Google. It must be their system or something. I don't know what the problem is with those two that I had today.
Yeah, I think Pat said it was Chrome that he had problems with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do know that there's problems with the software with Chrome, but as far as Zoom is concerned, John's saying it's not a problem.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you much.
Absolutely, man. Well, that takes us just past the hour mark, so we're going to close this up for today. Remember, we have these calls twice a week. Today is Tuesday, so we will have another one coming up on Thursday. Make sure you go ahead and register for that so you get the reminders. And if you are there Thursday, I will see you Thursday. Otherwise, and I'll see you in the Facebook group. Use the heck out of the Facebook group. A lot of great information in there. I will talk to you all on Thursday.